everyone, and welcome to the Happiness Journey with Dr. Dan, a TV program that provides opportunities for local authors to share their journey to getting published and on their way to becoming bestsellers. Now, we all have a different definition to what happiness means to us, individually speaking, and this is one of the many reasons why we created the show. Now, if you are an aspiring author or not, this program is yours to enjoy. Now, with us today, we have Ken Rochon, the author of 16 published books. Yes, I can also admit, quite an amazing accomplishment. And he is here to share with us his many challenges as an author, despite his many published books. Now, he's also the host of Amplified radio show in Baltimore, Maryland, and probably being one of the best DJ I know in the tri-state area. Talk about being the jack of all trades. Ken, thank you so much for being here at the studio today, and welcome to the Happiness Journey.
I am happiness to be here, and I feel sometimes like it's deja vu all
Yes.
over again.
Now, 16 books, that is an amazing accomplishment. Tell me, how did you come up, or how did you have the time to do all this?
Well, it's one at a time.
Yes, okay.
So when I did the first book, if it was a great experience, I would consider a second book. And so I just think it's important that whatever is the most important thing you want to leave a legacy about, start it. And the starting is the hardest part. And this book right here
Yes.
Was a book that just came out of a conversation of just helping people network better.
Okay.
And I think you know a lot of people when they network, their game is what they can get.
Yes.
So Bob Berg made The Go-Giver. I said, what would it be like to live a life for 1 year where I didn't pay attention to me and only paid attention to the other person?
Interesting.
So I'd say, Dr. Dan, what are you looking for in life? Like, what's the next thing that would make you happy?
Being very happy.
Well, what would help you with that, though?
Oh, probably like more successful business or
Okay.
So on and so forth.
So if I knew someone that could put you on a stage to share your message, that would be a connection I'd be giving you.
Correct.
So it's called Go-Giver instead of Go-Getter.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's a great way to change the dynamic of you providing value to people, and if you provide value, you create relationship. Where if you're talking about what you get, you're getting transactional, so it's shortening a relationship from occurring.
Similar message from Zig Ziglar.
Right.
It's always helping others before you help yourself.
Exactly, and the more people you help, the more you'll be helped. So, and this book says the truth. Before I launched it, it said almost 100 sold because it just came out. I hadn't sold any.
Okay.
So having some fun with it, having some humor, poking some fun at yourself, I think really helps the reader and your audience relate to you more.
And the content of that book, was it based because of your many years of doing networking? Because you're an expert in that field, so it was easier for you to just kind of like blurt it out.
Exactly, and I wrote the table of contents, and every chapter I wrote was from a consulting piece I did or a bullet point that someone said, I've never heard anyone say that before. So this particular book, the first chapter, is actually the chapter 0. So no book has ever been written where it starts chapter 0. So you'll see that chapter 0, the power of 0, the defeatist attitude. And I thought about this. Most people, unless they can shift from negative to positive, how could you be productive? How could you give benefit to somebody? So the defeatist attitude is actually the thing that holds all of us back. So it's a very short chapter. It starts on page -1.
Okay.
And
never saw that before as well.
And then it goes to the first chapter, which is the power of 1. And so that's a great segue to who's the power of 1 in our life. Max is.
Yes.
Because without Max, he gave us the power to know each other because he introduced each other.
Correct.
And we had an event at Gash Printing, and that was a possibility of meeting 30 other authors.
True.
And it came out of an idea of really Max and myself, but he took it a step further, and he brought people like you to the event, and here we are today. So it's really cool.
And I was on your radio show on Tuesday.
Yes.
Right? The Amplified radio show.
And
that was an experience.
and Amplified is really the distinction of what we need to do with leadership and great ideas. If we don't amplify them, they don't permeate, they don't have the greater impact. So I believe you shift the world when you actually amplify good messages, good people, good causes, good events. So that's what my whole life is about right now.
Very, very good. Now, tell us a little bit about the time that you invest in writing. I mean, how do you manage personal work balance? Because I know that you are also a motivational speaker, you are a disc jockey. So how do you do all that? How do you find the time?
Well, I got really honest with myself. My dad said something to me when I was around 22. I said, I don't have time to take the trash out because I'm very busy right now. I'm very important. I got 28 credits of college credit for semester.
Yes.
I have 3 part-time jobs, and I don't have time to take the trash out. And he said to me, Ken, I'm not concerned that you're giving me this BS. What I'm concerned about is that you're believing it. And I was like, wow, that was a jolt. So I started getting clear that, you know, the biggest person we BS is ourselves. And so with 168 hours, you have 100 hours in the week to be productive. Now you can be productive by going to the gym.
Yes.
You can be productive by reading. You can be productive by meditating, but you have to account for the fact that you have 100 hours to play with.
Correct.
So when I tell someone you can do a book, I'm saying you have 2 hours out of your 100 that you could donate to download your brain and your heart to leave a legacy. And I think that's just such an important responsibility. And there's another aspect to this that just absolutely turns me on, is that when you write a book called Becoming the Perfect Networker, what do you become? Yourself.
Yes.
You become your book. So I was writing and I said, you know what, I can't write this because I'd be a hypocrite. So then I had to start living it more. And so the book was causing me to live it, but I was also making my life better to have the book actually be congruent. And I think we had talked about this on the radio, but the best way to do a book is to get the identity that you're an author. Correct. And if your identity is an author, you can't be with people that are non-authors, not to be mean, but they can't relate.
They can, you're right.
So if the 5 people you hang around with the most are going to be really the sum average of that product, you need to think about who do you want to be with. So if you want to be with people that make you more successful, you have to be with people that are more successful than you.
Correct.
And you know, when you're the smartest person in the room, you might want to get out of the room, right? So I actually looked for authors off LinkedIn in 2008, and I wrote a bunch of them, and 5 of them said, "You can meet with me," and they were also gracious with their time. They said, "This is not that big a deal. You know, you can just start writing." You know, that was the best advice I got, which was the difference maker is that I wasn't writing. Yes, and people that don't have a book come out typically have to admit, yeah, I kind of stopped writing, you know, and once you account for that and get back in doing it, it becomes fun, and action makes life fun. So I think surround yourself with authors that have done it, are going to be mentors, instead of surrounding yourself with people that are not authors that are going to give you advice or naysaying, or actually just allowing you to be less than you really are, right?
Interesting. Now, would you agree that fear is one of the biggest, I would say, obstacle for people to want to move forward, especially if they have a good idea, but yet they're too afraid that the book is not good enough, or that the book will not do well enough, or they're going to be laughed at? Is that one of the main reason why people will just stop, even though they started like a few months away, and they just stop writing? What would be that cause? I mean,
I think it goes beyond the book. I think it's their self-actualization of their significance. I mean, you know as well as I do, most people play at a very small game, so it's not about the fear. It's just they don't ever understand how powerful they are. And so when you start the writing process and you get it done, you realize, wow, I underestimated how much I had in me, and also how powerful I am. And it leads to the second question, which is, do I have another book in me? You know. So I think fear is obviously the reason it doesn't happen, but I think when you look at it, it's something that's easy to overcome.
You said that your first book was when you were 39 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Beforehand, did you ever thought that you're going to be a writer, or did you always love writing or express yourself, express your idea in writing? Or did you just come up one day, wake up one day, and say, okay, I'm going to be an author?
No, I think I wanted to be an author ever since I saw my uncle was an author, my grandmother, my grandfather.
It's in your blood.
They were brilliant. Well, they were brilliant writers, and I don't know if I don't think it's in your blood. I think it was in my family tree.
Okay.
And what I did was, because no one else in my family has written a book.
Okay.
And it was just important to me. I felt like it really was the answer that you are leaving something important beyond you. And also from an efficiency standpoint, you can only talk to so many people in a day, but a book can reach so many people. And that's an important aspect of it. Yeah, that's probably the big ones.
Now, I know that you have a company called the Umbrella Syndicate. Now, tell me more about this. Is this just to help other authors to get published? If they just provide you with the idea, or you help them ghostwrite a book, or how does it go?
Well, we're mainly here to serve leadership. And one thing I really encourage leaders to take on is that you have a great message. Why not document it, create a legacy with it? The Umbrella Syndicate is kind of a convoluted hybrid media, marketing, social media, photography, publishing company. Like all these triangles up here, they stand for a different piece that fits together. And when you look at how a business works, like the E-Myth, you read the E-Myth, Michael Gerber, he talks about the fact that most people go into business and they don't have all their triangles in place, so the 80% failure rate is very inevitable. and they don't have either their production in place, they don't have their cash flow in place, or they don't have their operations in place, they don't have something in place.
Yes.
And take a TV show like this, okay? There's a lot of pieces to it. And if one piece is missing, like let's say a recorder.
Yes.
Okay, if a recorder wasn't working, that one thing could ruin the whole show.
Correct.
Right? And so I learned with my DJ service and with doing a book or doing a business is that you really have to make sure there's a balance of all these things so that there's success. And it's about variables. So one of the variables of this TV show is your tech. Another variable of the TV show is your guest.
Yes.
Another variable is
the camera people,
is a
the
prompting.
audio.
There's a lot of pieces. And when you understand those variables and you get them to level 10 and you multiply them across, you're at optimal efficiency. And so that's why I talk about the 100 hours with a book, is the variable is time. Another variable is your talent. But I'm going to be honest with you, my dad said my writing was atrocious. In college, when I'd write a chapter or whatever I had to turn in, I'd give it to him and look out. I mean, he was a speechwriter. It would be read and he'd write, "Are you kidding me?" And I did not like that feedback, but I also learned so much from the feedback. And I started really becoming a great writer because I kept working on it. So I think writing a book is a great practice of learning how to communicate. And when the best book you can possibly write is a conversation to a reader. A lot of authors write in a technical format or for themselves.
Correct.
And so the reader gets bored. There's no conversation. And it's like this TV show. This TV show is going to be enjoyable if we're having a conversation.
Correct, yes.
Because it's going to go by and time is irrelevant when you're having fun, right? So I think that's the way you need to look at a book is I'm going to have a conversation. And a new way of doing books really is actually recording, getting someone to transcribe it, and seeing if that actually is the conversation you're having with a reader. That's a great way to kind of make it easy.
But if you're an expert in a certain field, you have to captivate your readers somewhere, somehow during your writing. And that will be including very valuable information that you will give them. But also you said about how to keep it interesting, keep it like communicated between us and them.
Right.
So the way that you write, you have to make it as a dialogue?
Well, I think it's important that you have it as a dialogue, but you have it as a problem being solved at all times, and that there's recaps.
Okay.
So many people, when they finish the chapter, what'd you read? Well, if you don't have a nice recap, then you're going to lose that information. The problem with a show like this is we need an hour to talk about all the things.
Yes, I agree. And that's the minimum.
Yes.
Definitely. Now, in school, were you good in English?
No, I was not. In fact, I wasn't good at a lot of things. But yeah, so the thing I will say to someone that's thinking about a book is think about the cover. Think about how you actually create something that's compelling and interesting so that you turn it around and you want to read. A lot of people don't spend their efforts on the cover, and so what happens is they have a boring cover, so they have a boring conversation to start off with.
So you recommend authors to be able to put some money into the marketing and the cover mostly?
Yes, you need to put a significant amount, and that could be $200, it could be $500, but put something there so you actually have something that's going to wow people.
Beautiful. Okay, when we come back from a quick break, we will continue our conversation with Ken so he can share with us some of the many hurdles he faced throughout his career as an author, host, motivational speaker, and the list goes on and on. Stay tuned. Message from the universe. Keep it silent until, just act normal. If you let just anyone know about your awareness of the legions in the unseen doing your bidding, or the population shift now being sparked by your very words, or the circumstances and events presently being crafted by your own thoughts, you just might create the illusion that you're from not so distant parallel star system, possessing mysterious powers, favored by fate, here to save the world. And man, oh man, you do not want that to happen. The universe. Lots of jealous people out there wanting you to fail. When you create a negative thought against someone, you're aligning the planets to send negative energy their way, which might ultimately delay their success. There is a risk to all that though. When wishing bad things upon others, you are bringing negative outcome to yourself as well. Of course, if you have absolutely nothing to lose because you are already miserable in your own life, you might just say, it cannot get any worse, so who cares, right? However, you need to realize that if your condition ever gets better and you come across a great opportunity, this great outcome won't last because of all the negative energy that you poured into someone else. The universe will play games with you and make you believe that finally you are getting a break to eventually take that opportunity away from you and bring you hell again. When you have plans to create something big, learn to avoid sharing it with the others. Let the world figure out by themselves when it actually happens. Just continue with your ultimate plan to become better and offer the best to everyone you encounter. If people are nasty, there's no reason for you to do the same. Life's too short. Now, to learn more about the universe, be sure to catch my show, The Happyness Journey, right here on MCM. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dr. Dan, and I'm here talking with Ken Rochon, the multi-published author. So, Ken, let's continue with appropriating the budget for marketing on the book and for editing, book cover, etc. What would be the percentage?
First, I'd like to start with saying most people think of CreateSpace as a great solution to getting a book published.
Okay.
I think it's a great solution for getting a book printed. And you need to understand a distinction, because printing a book just means you have something on a shelf or something in your storage closet. And so that's when you have to make a realization, do I want the book to have an impact in the world? And if you do, you have to market it.
Correct.
There's no such thing as making a new car and saying, we're not going to market this new car, we're not going to market this new idea, we're not going to market this TV show and hope people find out about it.
Yes.
And so a lot of people that start a book say, the world is waiting for my book. They're just waiting outside this room for me to finish it. And the world is oblivious that the book is happening. So you get this stark reality that the 10,000 or 20,000 people in your network or your 5,000 friends or on Facebook are like, yeah, I'm not buying that. That's $20 I can put towards something else in life.
5 years.
So going back to your question, 50% is probably a good percentage, but you have to have at least $3,000 probably to have as a budget for a starting, let's make a great book, and let's have a pretty good marketing budget of $1,500. And what do you use the $1,500 for? Use it for all kinds of different things. Experiment. But one of the things is going to events, giving your book away as a
gift or a
as
prize.
A gift, door prize. Yeah. Having a certain amount of the books to mail to radio shows. That's postage. That's books that aren't bringing revenue back. So you have to really divide this up so you find out which one's working best for you. But the ideas I just gave, I did all of them and they all work.
Oh, they all work. Okay.
They all work.
So would you do like pay-per-click kind of advertising with Google or?
I personally don't do that, but I think it's a great idea. You find out what the keywords are and pay and experiment. Just use $100. But I found the best one is to give it to people that need to see your message so they can actually tell their tribe or their event promoter or whoever that this is an important book.
But that depends on the genre of the book.
It totally does.
It has to be either nonfiction or fiction or drama or science fiction, whatever it is. So how do you advertise or how do you market each individually? I mean, I know your books have a different subject, but in this case, what would you recommend?
So this book that I just did at Father's Day, I'm actually marketing this to fathers at the holidays because I want them. I want the mothers to buy it, but I want fathers to talk about it. Like this would be a great book for me. And every book starts with a seed, and that seed, if you look at that seed, that's the page or a chapter that's going to evolve into a book. And I'll just say that death was the seed for this one. And I actually wanted to read a piece here. It's so death is the page here, and it's not a great topic, but I'll just read this. Son, since death is a part of life, one day I won't be here, and most important gift I'll leave behind are the words in these pages. I'm writing to you because I want you to always hear my voice. A wise man shared with me the way you really live life is to live life like it's your last year. And that moves me still. But my point is, I was able to write about 99 other topics in this book because this was the legacy I was leaving for my son so he could be my legacy.
I see.
So it's got to play. And I know no matter what age you are, you can't guarantee tomorrow. And so I thought to myself, whenever I leave this earth, it'll be too soon. But when I do, I want my son to know how much I love him. I want him to know everything I learned. I mean, I probably invested over $250,000 on just self-improvement. Tony Robbins, all these people that you put money into. When you add it up, it can be a staggering amount of money that you've invested.
You don't realize it, yes.
Yeah, and what I always said to about my father or my uncle is, they are cheating me. They're cheating me. They have these amazing minds. One's a brilliant storyteller, and they will not download it into a book. My uncle is absolutely hilarious. He tells the same stories over and over again, and you're still cracking up. My grandmother wrote some beautiful poetry books, so she didn't cheat the world. She left poetry behind. And so I just think it's important to acknowledge that if you have a gift inside here or both, you need to get it out of you. Even if you don't publish it, you need to get it out of you and then make a decision later if it's worth publishing. But it typically is, because the people that love you would love it. You know?
That's a good point. Now, is there any major recommendation, or I would say advice, if someone, let's say an author comes to you and they ask you, hey Ken, how can you guide me to becoming a published author? What would be the step or the process that you would recommend the most?
Well, if you're looking at a marketer or a publisher, look at their social media and look for two key indicators. What is their engagement and how many reviews do they have?
Okay.
So I think you'll agree if a publisher has no buzz, they're probably dead for you as well as they're going to be for themselves. And the other one is that they have no reviews, they haven't socially proven that they're actually competent. So they're probably just printers. And it's not to be mean. They're probably,
the reality.
They turn out a beautiful quality book, but the book is just delivered, and that's the end of the game.
Yes.
So there's the game called the sprint, and the sprint is, I get the book done, we do a book launch, and now, bye-bye, good luck. The other sprint is, we're gonna do a national bestseller campaign, we're gonna get you on Amazon, and you get it, and you have a title, and then bye-bye, good luck. I mean, what do you do with the title?
Yeah.
The title still needs to be marketed. So I'm a marathon thinker, and I really believe that a book has to show up over and over and over again, and I'm fortunate that I go to some of the biggest events in the United States, so I bring my books to every event. And as you know, I've pleaded with you, and you've agreed that your next book come out in December.
Yes.
I get to publish, but I'm actually excited about showing you the difference of you working to get your book out there, marketing all the time, and having someone else that's just bringing it to event after event after event, and actually showing the book in influencers' hands. An influencer is basically saying when they hold a book up, buy it. I mean, that's what comes out of the picture, is I love it. And so I give these books to people so they can actually say, this is a great book.
So how do you get, I know one of your book there is about getting reviews.
Yes,
Okay, that's
a very new one.
Yes.
And so this is called, and by the way, this came out of just a saying, 5-star reviews equal 5-star sales. Is it not true, if you get a 5-star review, that you can show it off?
Yes.
Well, if you get 500 of them, you can actually just reference to someone that you're talking with. And I found it's the biggest sales shift, speaking of shifts, right?
Yeah.
Is if I show you 500 satisfied authors that have gone through my program, your belief system is through the roof.
Absolutely.
I almost don't have to talk.
That's a good
Because they just talked for me. So I found the phenomenon of social proof is just mind-boggling. So what happens in the beginning is you are telling the world, this is great, I'm doing great things, okay? And the world does not care, and they're not listening. But someone says, I know him, I believe in him, I'm gonna try it. And you say, what'd you think? And they go, it is great. And so that one person's working with you, and then finally it tips. And we talked about tipping points earlier, and also in the show. When it tips, you get to step aside, and the world starts marketing for you that this is good, and it's worth it, it's valuable. And so I think it's such a magical point. It's actually like a retirement plan. You put money into this retirement plan, all of a sudden the money works for you. The money works for you. And so that's how a book has to be treated. You cannot say, world, I know you're waiting for this book, I'm gonna show it on Facebook 1 time or 10 times, and I hope we sell out. That doesn't do it. That doesn't happen either.
But social media does have a big impact.
Massive, but it is like a crop. That it would be like planting a seed of corn and yelling at the corn a week later, why aren't you a whole stalk yet? Or if you were fortunate enough to have a baby and your wife is pregnant, and you yell at the doctor, you say, doctor, you told us we were pregnant, there's still no baby a month later. And it's the most absurd conversation, but it's actually just equally absurd to say, I've had this book out a month, I cannot believe it's not making a difference in the world yet.
It's supposed to be consistency. You have to always keep
and then it
a
tips,
steady pattern.
and then it tips. Do you know the secret of me getting 740 five-star reviews?
What is it?
1 a day. Just 1 a day.
Yeah.
Did I ask you after the show? I said, what did you think of the show? And you
Yes.
said, it was excellent. I said, would you mind writing a review? And I said, if I have a great experience, I would be happy to give you a review for your TV show, because I know it makes a difference, that 1 a day. And it's not 1 a day to get, it's 1 a day to give and 1 a day to receive. And it's not quid pro quo. It's about, what are you doing to give value, and how can you show that you're getting value?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's 2 separate tangents. So I look for people that are doing a great job, and I acknowledge them by writing a review or tipping them or whatever.
So you do believe in the laws of the universe. You do believe the laws of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because we prove with the universe collaborating that it's going to happen, and we do it subconsciously also.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love Henry Ford's quote. It's one of my favorites. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, you have to prove it. So if I say I'm never going to get this book done, the universe hears it and they go,
Oh,
"We
no
promise
problem."
you won't. We promise
That's
you
a good
won't."
point. Yes. But then also you have to like this, the belief system.
Yes.
That you have to believe in yourself. But yet when you have everything around you that is not happening the way that you expect or that you anticipate, it's hard to really be positive.
Right.
So if let's say you're writing that book and you have great ideas, but everything around you is not working the way that it's supposed to, how do you go around that?
We have to refer to this.
Keep smiling. Shift happens.
Yeah, so that book is my favorite book from a message standpoint because this
Because
book
I'm
right
in there, right?
Well, yeah, you're on page 38, I think it is,
Yes.
and yeah,
There
there's
you go. Here I am.
Dr. Dan,
Perfect.
and look at that beautiful smile. I mean, that says it all. But when you radiate a smile, it shifts how you're thinking. It shifts your well-being. It shifts your energy. It shifts your body language, and you attract it right back. I mean, a smile is the universal expression.
True.
So if you're having a bad day and I'm smiling at you, the one with the stronger force will cause the other to shift. So if I'm so happy, you can't take me away from that. No. And by the way, I've seen people that are in the worst mood ever, and I smile at them, and I just say something nice, and I just watch them shifting. It's a beautiful power.
No,
it really
is definitely. I guess it's people that they want to know that someone is actually respecting their situation, their struggles, and everyone around us. We all have our own daily struggles to go through. But yet, when someone just brings that smile, and that's why I love that book, He's Smiling. It's kind of like help people like in a very, very bad time in their life to be able to see, you know what? It's not that bad. He's happy. He's smiling. So I should be as well. I mean, I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm walking. I'm lucky.
Well, and you have a choice every day you live to be happy or not. So why not be happy?
That's hence the reason why I wrote this book, The 100 Days of Reaching Your Ultimate
I love
Happiness.
it. And after I do the next book perfectly, we're going to have that conversation because this is the message I want to carry around with me everywhere. It's a beautiful message.
Well, the thing is, I guess for me, I also had struggle about happiness. And like you said, you write something that you're passionate about, something that you want to share your information to others. And that's the reason why I decided to write that book, is because I said, you know what, if I could overcome that struggle, and even though it took me more than 100 days, but I feel that, you know what, if you tell people that, you know what, it will take only 100 days, not calendar days, but 100 days if you really invest yourself into it.
Right.
Now, well, that's all the time we have for today, and I want to thank Ken for sharing his experiences with all the viewers and also his journey to becoming published. And also, if you'd like to purchase one or all of his 16 books, they're available on his website and also on Amazon. Now, we hope you've enjoyed the show, and we all hope to have you back watching our next episode coming out very soon. Now, here are a few concluding words of wisdoms. If you just physically pretend on a regular basis, no matter how silly it may seem, that it is yours, that your life has already taken off, and that you found true happiness, a tipping point will be reached, stars will be realigned, and new acquaintances will start insisting, I don't know why, but you look really familiar. And it'll be because their inner eyes already see the legend you are to become. So go out there, smile, live for today and not for tomorrow, as you can't really predict outcomes in your life. Don't despair. Your moment to shine will come very soon. My name is Dr. Dan Amzalag, and have yourself a wonderful day.